The next thing we're going to talk about is Biu Ma. Biu Ma means thrusting forward, thrusting stance. It's the stance that you would use if somebody's coming into your personal space, causing you some grief, and as they come in, you give them a dig, whatever it is that you do. If they move back, you want to bridge the distance. You want to keep them under pressure. You want to keep them close. What you don't want to do is somebody come in, do a beautiful technique, whatever it is, you know, and as you hit them, they ride the punch, the range is slightly wrong. Whatever happens, if they move away and you let them get away, the problem is there's nothing stopping them staggering back, mentally regrouping, coming back more aggressive. There's nothing stopping them staggering back, grabbing an opportunist weapon and causing you a whole new set of problems as they come back at you. So if somebody does move away from you, you want to close them down, and you want to close them down fast. So from there, let's go into, if you face me, sorry. Let's go into the basic stance, Biu Ma, just as a starting point, and then just naturalise it a little bit more. So from here, if somebody's come in, and you do a turning punch, and you give them a dig, or whatever scenario, and then they start to move away, you've got to close them down. And what you've got to do is close them down without giving them the basic opportunity to lash out and hit you. If I've stepped in and somebody's managed to catch me with a punch on the jaw and I ride the punch a little bit and I stagger back, if I stagger back and I get a distance away from them and I see them then coming in, I'm going to kick you in the groin, I'm going to boot you in the knee, I'm going to grab a weapon and reintroduce myself. You can't afford to let somebody do that. So the moment that's connected and the moment they start stepping back, you've got to step forward. And you've got to step forward by protecting your centre line. Because as they're stepping back, what stops them just booting as you start to come forward. So some people I've seen circle this leg and they step forward this way. Personally, I would step forward with the supporting leg first. I would drive off the supporting leg and I'd drive the lead leg in. Can you move forward? There. And the reason I do that, if you go back to the turning stance, the reason I would recommend that as a starting point of training, and at this point we're only training principle, we're not training application. Application comes with a partner and you reference everything you do to the person in front of you and the way that they move. This is talking about a principle in a classroom with no opponent. But the reason why I would suggest starting off learning by circling that is for you to move forward in that leg, you have to transfer the weight onto that leg. By transferring the weight onto that leg, if somebody's here and they want to kick you, as you transfer the weight, you're already starting to move your body away from the next attack. If you step forward with that leg, the weight's already here, so when you step forward with that leg, basically that point becomes static. And if somebody's kicking you, you're bringing your leg in and hoping to get there first. Where being here, if they're coming into here, that simple step before I move becomes part of my protector. And it's my quadricep that gets kicked, which hurts, or my knee, which really upsets your afternoon, but you don't end up getting kicked in the groin, so it looks like you've got lumps. So, turning punch, and then from there driving forward, and we simply step forward. There are no hard and fast rules to this. What you do want to do is you want to put your leg in the way, and you want it angled just enough that the quadriceps cover the centre line. Okay, so the knee's slightly bent, this is your supporting leg. Try and protect your centre line as much as you can. Both hands come forward. Having stepped forward as they've stepped back, you're now in their personal space, you're hitting, you're punching, whatever it is that you're applying. If they step back again, don't try step through with that leg. This is already here as a nice big fleshy shield. It's protecting you against the low kicks and the stamps. It doesn't mean that they can't do them, but it's better to have it landing around your thigh and your quads and stuff like that than it is hitting you in the groin. So if you're going to step forward, having put a nice solid fleshy shield in the way, keep the shield in the way. So when we step forward again, we step forward again. Okay, so relax and move back. So the mechanics of training it, the little key pointers that I will be looking for when you're training Biu Ma as a basic tool. From the Biu Ma here, is to first of all, from the stance here, as we step, the first thing you want to do is drive through and put the leg forward. And as you drive forward and put the leg forward, I want to see this foot covering. What I don't want to see, I don't know if you can see my feet in the video, I'm afraid, what I don't want to see is people stepping forward like that. I see people stepping forward with the heel, and then they step forward, and they put the heel down first, and the toe follows. And there are great disadvantages to that. If I am, I'm going to put myself forward to here. If I'm here, and you look at my feet, and just watch my feet rather than my arms for a second. If I step forward from here, and I step like that, and then I step. The problem with stepping with the heel is that I've got such a small surface area of contact that if I land on a leaf, on mud, dog dirt, slippy grass, ice, snow, or anything that's not 100% firm ground, that foot is going to slide away from me. And there's nothing behind it that can secure it and stop it, and I'm relying purely on muscle structure to stop me going down, and I've still got something in front of me to deal with. If I step with my toe, however, and I put my toe down first, then if my foot starts to slide, the rest of my foot can drop down and get greater purchase on the ground and great grip. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, in order to put my heel down, I've kind of got to lock my leg out. Okay? And I really don't want to step forward towards an aggressive opponent, lock my leg out, because if it was me, I'd be dancing on their knee by now. So I'm kind of assuming everybody else has the same mentality in a fight. By stepping with my toe, I've actually kind of forced it myself to bend my leg a little bit more, because I'm not a ballet dancer, and I certainly can't achieve doing it any other way. So for me, as I step forward, I point the toe, bend the knee. I can't do it with a straight leg, where here, it would force me to lock my leg out. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, if I put my heel down here, okay, and in a rush I'm stepping forward and I'm slamming my foot down forward, I have no idea what the ground is here. There could be glass, there could be nails, there could be a broken bottle, a broken drinks glass, anything that as I put my foot down can slam into my shoe. And all it's got to do is penetrate through my shoe like 0.5 millimetre and stick in the sole of my foot. If any of you have ever walked around a carpet and you stood on a drawing pin or on a sharp object, the first reaction is always like, how pain it would make you retract. And the pain of somebody sticking a little piece of glass through my shoe and penetrating into my foot, just 1 millimetre, it's not the same as my opponent smashing my face in, but it's going to make me want to pull back for that split second. Unfortunately, that split second is just when my opponent could be throwing the next punch. I can't afford to be causing myself problems. So as you step forward from here, as you step with your toe, it means that now, because you've covered the ground loosely with your foot, anything of any size, you'd either find, brush aside or move. It does mean I can put my foot down comfortably without worrying what's beneath it. So, with the Biu Ma, from here, okay, as soon as you drive, point the toe and then sit the weight on the back leg. And keep the weight on the back leg. And if I'm going to step forward again, I do the same thing again. And I do the same thing again. And I do the same thing again. I don't keep swapping legs. Now obviously, it's a drill. It's a classroom. There's no opponent. So I can practice drilling forward Biu Ma and stuff like that with punches, etc., quite nicely. I can practice going backwards if I choose to. I might choose to do that in a very simple situation, but it's very likely I'd actually practice in application going back because it's not saving me from an awful lot. Biu Ma can equally be used at 45 degrees going forward. It can be used in lots of different directions. You also need to combine that training with Hun Ma, the circling foot, because if I'm going this direction, I can use Biu Ma. But if I'm going to change direction, Biu Ma like that is just stupid. I will just fall over. So all I do is I cut the corner and I circle through. Then I use Biu Ma again. If I can get Alan's face in here. So in the drill, when we drill it, we'll just circle the leg forward, and then just think about pointing our toe, keeping the weight on the rear leg with the front leg bent. We might just do simple punches. Simple little drill. As you're going through the drill, as an instructor, what I'm looking for is, are you maintaining a vertical posture? Is all the weight on the rear leg? Are you using the leg set of mechanics to drive the punch forward? So when you're stepping forward, as you're stepping, you're punching. Okay? When you are moving forward, you point the toe and you bring the back leg up straight away. So in the early stages, it's a very slow, simple set of mechanics. As it gets more natural, you get faster, you get more powerful, you get more explosive. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about a set of mechanics. This video is not about how to apply, it's about how to learn a principle that you can go to apply. So, from a Biu Ma position here, very simple, as you step, you punch. You put the force equals mass times acceleration, you put the body mass behind it, and you drive, and you drive, and you drive. When you're stepping back, the timing's different. Now I've said in previous videos, and I'll say again, in application from here, somebody comes towards me, I'm not going to step back because it's not really going to prevent the hit. But the reason why we learn Biu Ma going backwards is that when somebody comes in, I may well step back at 45 degrees and the mechanics of the stepping will be the same, albeit changing angle as I do so. So I might train in a classroom stepping back, but the application of doing so would always be retreating at an angle, because why would I step back here when I can step back at an angle and give myself an alternative line of defence, or offence for that matter. So from here, the stepping back is different. Stepping forward, you step and punch at the same time. Get full sequence mass times acceleration, get that body mass behind it, drive the body behind it, and give it as much support mechanism as possible. But stepping back is different. If I step and punch, I'm actually not achieving anything. And I'm going to illustrate that with Alan using his hand here. So with his hand here, when I step forward, you can see that I'm using my body mass and it drives the punch forward, etc., etc. But if I'm punching as I step back, and remember I punch with the rear hand as I go forward, I would also punch with the rear hand as I go back. So I'm actually going to emphasise that by putting the rear punch ready against Alan's hand. But if I step and punch at the same time, that's what he feels. Nothing. Because I'm moving away from the problem, there's nothing being transferred forward. So unless he runs on the end of my static hand, as far as the floor is concerned, it's not going to cause any problems at all. What I need to do if I'm practicing going backwards against an advancing opponent is actually step back first and then drive. Step back first, then drive. So I land and then I punch. Where going forward, I punch and drive. So the mechanics is going to be different. Stepping back, you step and land, then you fire off the punch. Stepping forward, you use the two things together because that's going to give the body mass support. So when we're drilling it, we might drill it in a classroom in straight lines because it keeps it simple. I'll be looking for the motor mechanics of going forward, stepping and punching, pointing the toe, keeping the leg angled, the mechanics of driving together. Some people will talk about, should the heels be in line? Should the toe and heel be in line? And do you know what? It's personal preference. When I teach, when I practice, I put both heels in line, in a straight line of the line of direction. I turn my hips square to the line of direction. And the reason for doing that is if I use the line on the carpet, as an example, by putting my heels in line here and then turning my hips square onto it, it's almost like I'm walking along a tightrope. And in a classroom that's beneficial because it means that my leg muscles are constantly moving and shifting, fighting for me to maintain balance. My legs never get to rest. They don't get an easy time of it, they get a really hard time of it. And they get to struggle because I'm on the point of losing balance all the way through my training. If I did that in application, I'd be weak. But as a training exercise, it's a really good way of making sure that your stance is almost on the point of losing balance and you constantly have to fight and shift and struggle to maintain the balance. In application, however, I would never do it like that. I'd line up toe to heel here, because that's where I'm powerful, that's where I feel comfortable, and having trained this is a doddle. This is so easy to do. So, Biu Ma, very simple drill. We tend to, as I say, do it in straight lines. We will do it going backwards in a straight line as well, and purely and simply in the classroom what I'm using as a warm-up, so they don't end up clashing into each other and knocking each other on their arse. We do it in simple straight lines. When we're applying it, it will be applied in any direction appropriate. If I'm here, Alan comes in, I can Biu Ma 45, Biu Ma in, and I can apply it very simply this way. I can use it from here, come up the centre line. I will use it just as avoidance to here, counter-attack here, no matter how I apply it, and it will be used as a Biu Ma, usually combined with a Hun Ma to change all my angles, and it's got to become natural. The benefit of training, again, is in same as the Chun Ma I've discussed before. If I'm doing Biu Ma, the only difference between Chun Ma and Biu Ma in some cases is direction. But from here, again, I'm going to try and have all my weight on the rear leg, not in the middle. Because if I now want to have it turn into a kick, I've got to lean back, and that's going to cause me a major problem. If I've trained my Biu Ma here forward and I can just apply it, then that's great, because I don't have to worry too much. By having all the weight here, I'm at least in a position where I can, if I need to, use the leg as a weapon, or use it to drive in. So I'm trying to get as much basic stuff working for me together as possible, so that one exercise doesn't just teach me one thing. Historically, I've always described Wing Chun like a Swiss Army knife. You keep opening up and finding these new tools, and each one can be used in multiple ways. And that's what Wing Chun is all about. So, Biu Ma, it's not a drill and a drill only. It's not the most practical fighting application the way that you drill it. It's a set of tools and principles that you practice to educate your leg muscles, to make sure that when you step forward, or you step back, or you step around, or you step in, that you don't end up with an exaggerated width stance that makes you too rigid, or a too narrow stance that makes you too weak. But you practice and practice and practice to the point that eventually you get it to where you want it to be. Through lots of practice, no matter how hard you train, it's not that you will get it right every single time. You will make mistakes. In application with a partner, never mind on the street, you will make mistakes. Either because of your lack of control at that moment in time, or you're just caught out by your partner or your opponent. You will have mistakes forced upon you. But if you train hard, and you train your Biu Ma so well that you know how the weight distribution should feel, and you're familiar with that, when you make a mistake, and it will happen, you are the first person that realises you made a mistake. You can therefore correct it before you're punished for it by somebody else. If you make a mistake and you don't even realise you made a mistake, when somebody takes advantage of it, recovery of that is very, very difficult. So train it right, train it once, and train it 1,000 times. Repetition, repetition, repetition is the key to train the neural pathways in the brain. So eventually, you don't have to think about doing it, it becomes a natural response. As soon as it's wrong, you feel it's wrong. And the best example I can give you is if you take your car into a garage for a service, and the mechanic moves the seat a little bit, when you go pick up your car and you get into the seat, immediately it feels wrong. You know it's wrong. You don't have to remember how it felt, you just get in and go, somebody's moved my seat. And then you move it back to where it should be. You don't move it back by getting out a handbook and working out what angle and degrees the backrest was and how many notches forward from the back of the seat was towards the pedals. You just feel it and you adjust it till it feels right. That level of comfort, that level of familiarity is what you have to train in everything we do Wing Chun. So we don't have to think about it, that we feel it. We feel it when we do it right, and when we do it wrong, and as I say, shit happens, we feel it when it's wrong, and we automatically other people correct it. We recover the problem before we get punished for the problem. That is your Wing Chun training for you.